Ajay sir, please can you join our event is going on. International event. Please can you check it properly, sir. It's not very professional. No one is showing any interest.
Doesn't compatible with Apple. Apple is crazy. Apple need Apple. It's crazy. Oh.
Tell each and everyone to join. Please kindly, I know.
Miss Anna, do you want to start the session now?
Yes.
Dr. Sandeep and Ms. Ada, are we ready to start the session? Ms. Ada, you are on mute.
Okay, let's go started. Can we ask for a recording of
Sure.
this webinar so we can share it to the students?
Yes. The recording has already started. So yes, you can share it with your students.
So good morning to one and all.
Morning.
Good morning. I am Dr. Sandeep Bhattacharya, professor and head of the department, and I extend a warm welcome to all of you for joining us at this one-day bilateral webinar on the theme of impact of experiential learning in education. This event is jointly organized by Department of Electronics and Communication Engineering, SR University, India, and UTk-ISIC, Institute of Science, Innovation and Culture in Bangkok, Thailand. I take immense pleasure in welcoming our esteemed guest speaker, Dr. Yudhi Arifani, Associate Professor at UTk-ISIC Bangkok, Thailand, and Dr. Clinton, lecturer at the same institution. We are truly grateful for their presence and for sparing their valuable time to share their expertise with us. I would like to express our gratitude to our internal expert, Professor Dr. Syed Mustaq Ahmed, Professor Dr. Rajendra Prasad, Dr. LMI Leo Joseph, and our organizer, Mr. Pritha Chakraborty, International Affairs and Corporate Outreach, SR University, Mr. Girirajan, he is the industrial and academic coordinator in our university, for their invaluable support in making this webinar a grand success. The primary focus of this bilateral webinar is to deliver into the impact of experiential learning on education, with the ultimate goal of forging a memorandum of understanding between SR University and UTk-ISIC Thailand. And this is the perfect occasion to shed light our university and development accomplishment. SR University is a state private university spread over 150 acres lush green campus, having 7,000 students, 300 faculty members, and 140 programs across SR, six schools. School of Computer Science and Artificial Intelligence, School of Engineering, School of Business, School of Agriculture, School of Allied Science, Health Science, and School of Basic Science. SR plans to scale up its center of AI to global level. SR University is one of the youngest university to attain 91 NIF ranking in engineering education, and is in 101 to 150 in the university category in India. SR University link up with 25 industry collaboration, including Microsoft, Palo Alto Networks, Science Technology, Siemens, ARM, AWS, among others, and foreign collaboration with UMass Lowell, University of Mass Lowell, University of Central Missouri, University of New Haven, St. Louis University, University of Missouri Columbia, Sihan University, Iraq, ABE Semiconductor, Design Chennai, from Chennai, Paper Science Software, then Assist Guntur AP, Signesia Hyderabad, OMSK State Technical University Russia, Albergo University Denmark, Science Technology Hyderabad, Wells Fargo Hyderabad, and SR University is active member of Indo-US Collaboration in Engineering Education, IUCEE. I am delighted to have organized this event in partnership with our department, and I am confident that this webinar will be enlightening for our students, research scholar, and faculty members. Once again, I extend a warm welcome to all of you for this event and offer my best wishes to ensure that you all have a productive and enriching learning experience. Thank you very much. Now I would like to invite our guest speaker, Dr. Yudhi Arifani, Associate Professor, who is currently working at UTk-ISIC, Institute of Science and Innovation and Culture in Bangkok, Thailand. Now I would like to uh, forward this session to Miss Ada Madi. So kindly, Ada Madi, please kindly introduce to Dr. Yudhi Arifani, his profile, his biodata.
Okay. Okay. Good morning, everyone. I would like to thank on behalf of our director, Yao Ping Yu, who cannot be with us today because he's also very busy. I would like to thank first the team of SRU University for initiating this webinar, and we hope that this will just be a beginning of fruitful collaboration in the future. And here with us today are two professors from our Education and Society Department. So here who's going to talk and share with you his knowledge about an education is our Assistant Professor, Dr. Yudi Arifani. He is from Indonesia, and he is also currently the head of our Department of Education and Society. Go ahead, Dr. Yudi.
Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Eda, and also Professor Ki Rajan from India. So I'm very honored to have our virtual meeting today. So please let me share screen first. This is still the first time for me to use this kind of Google. Okay, let me try first to share screen.
Yes, sir. Please take your time, sir. Sir, can you take one print screen?
Okay, can you now see my PowerPoint now?
Yes, sir. It is visible.
Okay.
Visible, sir.
So in this occasion, please let me, I'm Yudi Arifani. You can just call me Yudi. So I am from Indonesia actually, and already here for almost one year. I'm majoring on English education department. So my major is in teacher education and also computer assisted language learning. In this good occasion, I would like to share my idea regarding experiential learning, especially issue and future research. So today, I will not explain what is actually experiential learning, types of experiential learning, definition, model, because I believe that all of us already implemented experiential learning in our classroom. During our study, we already familiar with the experiential learnings. So why I propose issues and also future research? So we do hope that after this fruitful virtual meeting, we can collaborate. So in the coming future, we can try to find something can be collaborated together, like a research on experiential learning between ISIC and also your university. That is what we hope from our presentation. So we are not displaying, we are not explaining any type of experiential learning, but going to see what kind of issue we can follow up for our future research collaboration. That is actually my purposes of presenting this kind of slide today. Now let's come to the first slide. I will introduce at glance what is actually experiential learning. So everybody knows that experiential learning is a learning approach that focuses on importance of practical experiences So the keyword here is hands-on and also practical experiences in the teaching and learning process. So we force the student, we put the student into practical experience beyond the classroom. We can see some example of experiential learning like internship, service learning, practicum, or even fieldwork and also study abroad. Just my experience as an English teacher in my country, usually during practicum and also internship, we assign the student, we send the student to school to join what is collaborative teaching with the teachers in high school, so they get experience. That is what we are doing in applying experiential learning using internship model. And even in the practicum, we also have micro teaching before they are joining fieldwork teaching, before they are teaching in the real classroom. So we have a teaching practicum in our laboratory. That is actually a short or brief definition about experiential learning and also types of activities for experiential learning. Now let's see what is actually the benefit and also the challenges of experiential learning. And the benefit number one is actually experiential learning can enhance skill and development. So our students' skill can develop by communicating, interacting with partners, with teachers, and also with senior teachers, with peers. That is actually also the concept of a social Vygotsky social interaction in developing student skill. And the next can improve the student problem solving abilities, motivation and engagement, accelerate learning, and also enhance collaboration. But out of the benefits of experiential learnings, there are some challenges, like number one is takes more class time because it needs participation and reflection during the teaching learning process. So the time will be longer, we need more time, and requires training for teachers. Sometimes in implementing the experiential learnings, the teachers do not get training. So that's why teachers need to be trained for learning how to apply, how to implement experiential learning in their classroom. And also different types of assessment. It is different from paper pencil assessment because experiential learning rely much on performance. So we need performance assessment, skill assessment, collaborative assessment. And the last one, the important thing in the last point of challenges is that this is happened in my research. I study how student group work become one of the challenge in experiential learning or even in any types of student-centered learning. We can see, I give you a very clear example. When a teacher teaching in the classroom and assign the student to have out-class group work, so sometimes the teacher do not monitor the process of group work during collaborative learning out of the class context. For example, we assign our student to do a project and we assign them to collaborate and do the project out of our classroom. Maybe one group will consist of 5 or 4 students, for example, and one of them work very hard for doing the job, for doing the project. But finally, the students who work hard do not present during our classroom reporting or presentation. And finally, the second student will present, but they do not contribute in doing out-class collaborative learning. And finally, they get the same grade. Of course, this is unfair. So the important issue of group work is that we have to monitor collaborative process during out-class activities. That is also potential issue for our future research. Many previous research on collaborative learning, they neglect this point, they overlook this point. So we can develop such kind of instrument how to monitor the student when they work outside of the classroom. So we can know whether all the team members equally participated during the discussion. Sometimes most of the teacher neglect this point. This is very important point. And the second point is that when we divide the classroom into several groups, there will be competition. And the weaknesses of competition, when you read the book by Susan Lyot, because I review her books and published in Journal of Education for Teaching and the SSCI journal. So competition actually is not really good for students because they tend to compete between and among groups. They forget how to help. They forget how to scaffold their team's member during the collaboration in the classroom. So two important points we can get from how teachers should monitor out-class collaborative learning, and also how can we minimize the word competition. We can switch the member of the group to avoid the competition during collaborative learning. That is two most essential points in criticizing collaborative learnings. And the next one, I would like to emphasize on the key issues. What is actually some issues in the cycle of experiential learnings? Number one is, as we know that the first cycle, the first step of experiential learning is concrete. We will have concrete experience. But now let's see how Morris 2019 criticized David Cobb's theory of experiential learning cycle. Number one, it lacks of theoretical and also empirical foundation. So Morris argued actually the cycle still far from theoretical and also empirical frameworks in addressing the four issues. And number two, Cobb's works is considered as eclectic, optional. So there is no any organic or necessary way. So the connection between the first, the second cycle, and the third cycle, the fourth cycle is not really clear there. That's why Morris criticized the cycle. And I'm going to show you what is actually should be there according to Morris 2019. And we can see now the first example of issues is interpretation of what is meant by concrete experience as highly muddled or unclear. So Morris criticizing the first cycle. We will see now what happened with the first cycle. The first cycle is concrete experience. There are some controversies among scholars, and even in my research, I'm proposing real life tasks because experiential learning is close to real life tasks. And we can see here that Morris also used the word reading a book or sitting, listening to a traditional lecture is concrete experience. It's not like that one. Because when it is only concrete experience, we are listening to lectures, speech, we are reading a book, we will consider these activities as concrete experience. But according to Morris, no, that is not really concrete experience. Even in my research paper, I also try to criticize some implementation of project-based, where in the project-based, most of the teachers, they tend to use pedagogical authenticity, not situational authenticity. So these two issues, I'm going to elaborate deeper in the next slide. That is very important because reading a book when we are teaching in the classroom do not involve the student into the real life task. We will belong to what we call with pedagogical authenticity. This is not real experiential learning. Now, according to Morris, the context and the concrete experience should be contextually read concrete experience. So not only just concrete experience, it is not clear according to him. So in experiential learning, learners are involved, should be involved, active, and engaged participant in the learning process. So participation is central. Learning by doing. The student have to do something, not just listening to teacher's explanation and also reading a book. That is not the concept of experiential learning. So here, learners have to take responsibility to act pragmatically to find solution through an inquiry process to specific real-world problem. So reading a book, listening to teacher's explanation is not real. It's not real-world problem. That is what we call with pedagogical authenticity. We follow the curriculum, but we neglect the real-world situation. That is the first critique, according to Morris, about the first step in experiential learning proposed by David Cobb. And the second is reflective observation. So according to Morris, David Cobb, they do not differentiate between critical and non-critical reflection during the learning process. As long as you are doing observation, you observe other teachers when you are conducting internship, that is already called as reflective observation. No, because Morris, observation should be critically conducted, should be critically reflecting during observation. So critical reflection acts as a mediator of meaning making. Without critical reflection, we cannot derive the meaning from our observation. So problem solving will be very important activity for the student here. And also the context, real world context. It will invite the learners to be critical learners, to do critical observation. That is the second weaknesses of the second cycle of reflective, of experiential learning according to Morris. And the third one, David Cobb, 1984, proposed abstract conceptualization. So the conceptualization should be abstract. And again, this is still sensitive to the issue of critically or uncritically assimilated abstract conceptualization. So here, Morris proposed in the third stages of the experiential learning, contextual specific abstract conceptualization. So he proposed new term as contextual specific abstract. So the conceptualization of learning should be contextual. Contextual means reflecting not only pedagogical authenticity, but also reflecting real world or situational authenticity. So real world here is the same as situational authenticity. This is what we call with contextual specific abstract conceptualization. Learners learning to appreciate the condition in the context may change across time and place. Therefore, all knowledge is provisional and need testing in context or as working hypothesis. Yeah, because sometimes the context changes. The context changes from different context. So conceptualization depends on the context. It is very important to adapt the context. And the last one, active experimentation. So in the experiment, Cobb does not consider specific context. So here should be pragmatic, active experimentation. So I give you example what is called with pragmatic. For example, in my major in English education, we have what we call it business English. When we are talking about buck and dollar, in formal situation, we will use the word dollar instead of bucks. So here, learners should be able to pragmatically adjust their ability to solve problem based on the certain situation or context. So pragmatic is ability to behave, to perform, to communicate based on culturally bounded in the learning situation. So the use of buck and also dollar, where buck is used for informal communication or informal interaction. That is actually pragmatic ability in English education department. So we need that. This is the 4 critiques of Morris according to David Cobb's experiential learning cycle. So what can we propose for future research now? This is the end of my presentation. I'm going to propose what can we do, what can we collaborate for our future research. So I would like to recommend some good topic to be published in reputable journal for addressing experiential research in the future between ISIC and also with overseas partners. Okay, now we see number 1. Because the issue of experiential learning do not have, the model is already criticized by Morris. So when we want to implement or we want to conduct a research on experiential learning, we have to try to apply, to compare between David Cobb 1984 model and also the newly proposed model. We can test those 2 different concepts of experiential learning. Which one is actually works? So this is very important. So testing experiential learning using the newly proposed model. This is quite important topic. And the second new topic is that instrument to develop or to assess experiential learning based on the proposed framework. Because when you read the previous available research or published articles on experiential learning, you will see so many researchers do not distinguish between concrete and also specific or contextual concrete experience. So we have to develop the instrument based on the newly proposed framework. That is very, very good topic if we want to have a highly impacted paper. We can propose this using structural equation modeling. We test the item, we test the category, we test the dimension, so we can come up with a new instrument to assess whether teachers already implement experiential learning based on the good track or not. That is the second topic. And the third topic is the facilitation of experiential learning from the educator's perspective. So we can get perspective or teachers' opinion regarding the implementation of experiential learning based on the new framework proposed by Morris, for example. And the fourth topic is based on my previous research, assessing learners' collaborative process. As I told before, many researchers, many teachers, including in my countries and also here, during collaborative process, most teachers, most lecturers, university lecturers, they forget how to monitor, how to assess out-class collaborative process. They just trust the student to do project work beyond the classroom and finally bring the classroom, although not all the student participate in the out-class discussion. So this is very important. So we can propose guideline. How can the student work out class effectively, meaning each member of the group participate equally, maybe using like round robin discussion, or maybe using question answer session during classroom discussion. It is also a good topic for this. Not only in my major in English education, but also in general education, in psychology, in engineering, when the teacher assign the student to have group work, out-class group work or collaborative learning, they just trust the students without assessing whether each member of the student have equal participation during group work activities in their home. So that is good topic too for future research. And finally, to end my discussion, because now is the era of artificial intelligence, and if long time ago I learned how to teach from a senior teacher, how to speak English, we learn from native speaker, and now we learn English not only from human but also from AI. So it is possible we can investigate, we can examine how experiential learning, if human collaborated with artificial intelligence application. This is also good topics. So why I propose this topic? Who knows from your the lecture from your side are interested in those kind of future research topic. So if we have the same interest, the same research interest, we can work together to write a research paper to increase the quality of research in both parties between ISIC and also your university. Sorry, I forgot the name of your university. Maybe later we will going to be remember better. Okay, I think that's all, and thank you. So I send back to the moderator. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for your wonderful presentation, sir. I'm sure that the presentation will enlighten all the audience. Myself, B. Girirajan from the Department of Electronics and Communication Engineering, SR University. I'm the coordinator for Industrial Academia Collaboration. And now I would like to invite our speaker, Dr. Clinton, lecturer presently working in UTk-ISIC, Institute of Science, Innovation and Culture, Bangkok, Thailand. Before presentation, I would like to request Dr. Adamari to introduce Dr. Clinton to the audience and the experts participating in this session.
Okay, thank you very much. As we are still fixing here Dr. Clinton's presentation. Dr. Clinton is currently also a lecturer of the Education and Society, and currently also heading our research center at UTk-ISIC. And Dr. Clinton is from Nigeria, and he has been joining our institution for over almost 2 years already, right, Dr. Clinton?
Okay. Thank you, Ada.
Can you make it big, Dr. Clinton, the presentation?
Oh, okay. Okay, can you see it now?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yes, sir.
Thank you, everyone. As Ada already stated, my name is Clinton Chidebere Anyanwu. I'm from the second largest Black nation on earth, Nigeria. And I have been with this great institution almost 1 year now. And I want to say a very big thank you to all of you in India and those others joining us from other parts of the world. So my presentation this morning is what I titled Unleashing the Potentials of Experiential Learning, Transforming Education. So without wasting any time, I'll be taking us through different stages. First of all, I will deviate a little bit from what my head of department already presented. I will not go deeply into some criticisms of different theories. Rather, I'll be looking at a general overview of experiential learning as applied in education, teaching, and learning. I will briefly look at what the influence of experiential learning is having on education, teaching and learning classrooms. I will also touch on some of the theories. I'll be looking at 3 different theories as applied in teaching and learning. Then I will briefly talk about some of the implications of applying experiential learning philosophy in teaching and learning. All right. I provided just a brief explanation of what experiential learning, as we all know, is one of the important philosophies of education, and which focuses mainly on learning directly, being involved. We classify it as first-hand experiences because it has to deal with most of practical aspects of learning rather than the theoretical aspect of learning, because it highlights the idea that every individual, whether old, young, have a special kind of skills that needs to be harnessed and being actively engaged, because as far as learning is concerned, each and every one of us, we are responsible for what we know and what we do not know. So looking at experiential learning in education, it deals with practical aspects of what we know and what we need to know. So, having said that, we have witnessed some of the influences of experiential learning, as Professor Yudi stated earlier. It deals with practical knowledge. And as far as it deals with practical knowledge, it helps to improve students' understanding and retention of key concepts, because as students learn and practice the practical aspect of it, be it on a field trip or be it in a laboratory, it helps to harness the retention of the concept that are being discussed in classes. And we are in a 21st century where what is important, both in the engineering or other sectors of the economy, that critical thinking and problem solving is one of the key skills that each and every person should have. So the implementation of experiential learning philosophy in our schools, no matter which department, be it engineering, be it computer science, be it teacher education, critical thinking and problem solving has been considered as one or two of the top skills that everybody should have in this 21st century. So, in my own view, I say that this philosophy is, in fact, the top notch of philosophy as far as education is concerned in this century that we'll find ourselves, because it is more of practical. So it goes along with what we consider lifelong learning, and it plays a great significance in everyday life. So the influence of experiential learning in this present day and the present society we are in is of great immense, and it is needed and needs to be applied to the best of it in our education systems. So I will go straight to some of the models or theories that are playing a huge role as far as experiential learning philosophy is concerned. I'm not going to go too deep into it. I will just talk about it briefly because Professor Yudi already mentioned one or two things about it. So the models that I'll be talking about is the one we considered experiential learning circle by Curves, and I will look at John Dewey's learning by doing, and I will wrap it up with Vygotsky's zone of proximal development, which is one of the key theory as far as psychology is concerned. So these three theories, I will be looking at them briefly. So when it comes to David Cove's experiential learning circle, it focuses more on real life encounter. How we learn every day by what we encounter, what we engage ourselves in. David tried as much as possible to classify it into 4 different aspects. What he considered as real life encounter, contemplative analysis, abstract conceptualization, and also engaging in active experimentation. So the key of it is the number 3, what we call the abstract conceptualization, which deals with what students or what learners or anybody sees and tried as much as possible to bring it into real life, to make changes or improve one's knowledge. So looking at experiential learning from the perspectives of David Cove's theory helps us to understand how practical learning, how important it is in our education systems. So before I close the discussion of the theories, I will try as much as possible to look at the implications of these models in our education systems. Moving over to John Dewey's learning by doing. So it goes hand in hand with what David Cove already stated, because John Dewey helps us to understand that being active, participating in active learning is far more important than any other thing. That's why he tried as much as possible to expatiate it for everyone to understand by saying hands-on experiences. So, which also helps us to understand the important role of practical aspect is in teaching and learning. Like I stated earlier, irrespective of the discipline, irrespective of the subject, irrespective of the field, practical aspect of learning and practical aspect of teaching is very, very important. That's why when I see the theme of this webinar, I say, wow, I think this is the time to talk about this experiential learning deeply. All right. Moving over to the ideas of Vygotsky, zone of proximal development. Before I jump into it, Professor Yudi made mention of collaborative learning. And we know that as far as education is concerned, when we talk of collaborative learning, we know we are referring to the theories or the ideas of Vygotsky's zone of proximal development, because this is where the theory helps us to understand the need of being practical, the need working collaboratively, not only in teaching and learning, but in research as well. Because no one person knows it all. So when we collaborate, we tend to achieve more, we tend to understand more, and we tend to push more. So referring to the zone of proximal development, and taking it back to our classroom, which is a learner-centered and is capable of helping each learner to perform a particular task independently, and as well as the potential to accomplish or to complete a task as a group of individuals. Why I appreciate the idea of Vygotsky collaborative learning, because when we implement it as teachers in our classrooms, it helps to help our students to understand how to appreciate other people's opinion, and also how to appreciate other people's views. Because when students learn collaboratively as a team or as a group, they tend to understand that they do not know it all, and they tend to understand and respect other people's opinion. So when it comes to experiential learning and applying the theories or the models of zone of proximal development and linking it to collaborative and cooperative learning in our educational environment, we are all not only teaching or implementing experiential learning, we are also helping our learners, our students, to understand that we differ in so many ways, both in ability and in capability. All right. So I'm now going to look at the implications, the educational implications of applying these theories that link to experiential learning in our classroom and in our educational environment. Focusing more on teachers, focusing more on lecturers, focusing more on departmentals. So, what these experiential learning and the models are informing us is we should try as much as possible to provide appropriate challenges and guidance to help our students progress while avoiding tasks that are too simple or too difficult. This is very, very important. Like I stated earlier, irrespective of the subject or the discipline, we in the teaching field applying experiential learning philosophy, we have to be mindful of not being too hard or being too difficult when we are providing tasks or even providing assistance to our students. Point number 2, we should try as much as possible to design lessons and activities that require students to actively participate and interact with the subject matter. Because these are the key foundations or the key principles of experiential learning, helping students to engage more in doing rather than being passive. Experiential learning philosophy encourages active participation rather than being passive. So these are some of the educational implications, these two key points, is what comes to my mind to say, okay, let me bring it for us to look at it today. So I am now going over to look at some of examples or practical examples that are linked to experiential learning. One of it is what we consider as field trips and also internship. And we know that almost all this, be it in medicine, be it in engineering, and even in law, civil law, internship is being considered as the best way of training students to acquire more experiences. We see medical practitioners going for internship. We see nurses going for internship. We see lawyers going for internship. So internship is linked to experiential learning. And it also tells us that experiential learning philosophy can be implemented and applied in almost all educational fields or disciplines. That's how important this philosophy is. So another is project-based learning. I'm not going to go into the fourth point because I've already talked about it before now. The one that I want us to look into today is role playing, and which I will link to what Professor UD earlier talked about technology. We see different technologies coming up, artificial intelligence, and so on and so forth. So we should be thinking, how do we incorporate experiential learning philosophy into different technologies that are being or can be implemented in our classrooms and in our various disciplines to make it more practical and more inclusive in nature. Finally, I would like to end my presentation by highlighting the powerful impact of hands-on learning experiences in this 21st century. Because hands-on learning experiences, which is powerfully linked to the philosophy of experiential learning, enhance our students' ability to tackle challenges. It improves teamwork and effective exchange of information, which is needed in this 21st century teaching and learning. It also enhances student involvement and their enthusiasm. More importantly, it prepared our students for the real life experiences. So, my dear colleagues, my discussion mainly focused on the implementation or application of experiential learning philosophy in our classrooms. That does not mean that I do not have intention or ideas of how we can take this philosophy into research collaboration. I am going to propose a possible research area, and one of it is that we can look at the effect of experiential learning on students with various backgrounds and different levels of prior knowledge. Also, we can look at the implementation of different measures that foster diversity and provide equitable access to experiential learning opportunity for all students. This second research proposal is important because we cannot say that implementing or applying experiential learning philosophy in our classroom could favor all the students. It might or may not favor all the students. So it is important for we researchers to embark on this journey to find out if at all that this philosophy works for all the students in terms of what? Diversity and inclusivity. So I would like to say a very big thank you to all of us and to you, our colleagues in India, for this great opportunity, and to my colleagues here for giving me this opportunity to present my ideas based on this theme, experiential learning. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, sir, for your valuable presentation. And we are impressed with that presentation, particularly with the implication part. Some course you have done, like ZPD and other implication methods. Definitely, we will have a collaboration and work together for that. And now I request Dr. Rajendra Prasad, Associate Professor from SR University, Department of Electronics and Communication Engineering. Dr. Rajendra Prasad has more than 15 years of experience in the teaching, and he is well versed in the outcome-based education. He is a part of IUCE and experimental research and learning center. And I would like to invite Dr. Rajendra Prasad sir for this session. Thank you, sir.
I would just leave it on.
Hello.
Yes, sir. You are audible, sir.
Very good morning to one and all. First of all, I would like to thank organizers of this workshop on impact of experiential learning in education. Today, I am delivering topic on outcome-based education. In this, I chosen a subtopic on course outcomes. Okay. And coming to my presentation, I'm going to present on outcome-based education and frequently asked questions, how to write a course outcomes. So before starting with the outcome-based education, I would like to give a definition on education. Education is the process of facilitating the learning or acquiring the knowledge or skills, values, beliefs, and habits. Acquire the knowledge, skills, values, beliefs, and habits. And the quality of the education system mainly depends on three factors. These three factors includes input to the system, education system. Second one is the process within the system, and third one is the outputs from the system. So where the input for the system is the finance, resources, and infrastructure of the institute, whereas the process within the education system includes organize, control, and deliver education and training and delivery methods
all these are comes under process within the system, whereas outputs from the system are products and results of the education system. As a teachers, we come across several questions in our mind on how these students are are my students are learning, and what they are learning, how will they are learning, what affects their learning, and how much they are learning. On overall, so we need to concentrate or prioritize on the learning, not on the teaching. So the major intention of the OBE is concentrating on student-centered learning rather than the teacher-centered learning. And the major emphasis of the OBE system is on the measuring the outcomes rather than the inputs. Each education system is responsible for setting off its own outcomes. As an educational institute, they must have their own mission and their outcomes, and they need to prepare their mission, vision, and they are responsible for setting out their outcomes on their programs as well as departments. And the OB is mainly focusing on educational system around what is essentials for all students to be able to do successfully at the end of their learning experiences. Here, able to do means the student has to do whatever the skills they are learned during their learning experience and successfully implement at the end of their learning experience. And this means a clear picture of what is important for the students to be able to do, then organizing the curriculum and instruction and the delivery methods, assessments, these methods to make sure that learning ultimately happens. The main intention of the OBE is learning should be happens. And coming to the layer structure of the OBE implementation, every institute or a department may have their own mission and vision to achieve their goals. Goals means in the sense here outcomes. And these goals and outcomes may achieve with the help of their program educational objectives. And the program educational objectives achieved with the help of their program outcomes are program specific outcomes. And these program outcomes and program specific outcomes are attained with the help of course outcomes. Let us see one by one what are these program outcomes, program education outcomes, and program specific course outcomes. So let us see program educational objectives. Program educational objectives are the statements which describes expected achievements of a graduates within first few years, that is 3 to 5 years of their graduation from the program. That means these accepted achievements are in the form of their career achievements, higher studies, new knowledge, and some tools. So these are the competencies they need to achieve after completion of their graduation, after few years of their graduation. That is 3 to 5 years of span. Next is the program outcomes. These are also statements that describes what the students graduating from any of the educational program should be able to do. So after completion of their program, what are the things they need to complete? What are the competencies? These competencies are defined by the ABET as well as in India, National Board of Accreditation, given a set of graduate aptitudes attributes. So these attributes, the program outcomes are the description of these attributes. Okay. Then program specific outcomes are the statements that describe the students, graduates of specific educational program. After completion of specific educational program, what they achieve is the program specification, specific outcomes. And coming to course outcomes. So my presentation is basically concentrated on this course outcomes. In our mind, there are when you want to design any course outcomes for a specific course, in our mind as a faculty, as a facilitator, we are having some doubts. So doubt that questionnaire I am presenting on behalf of, I will give you some answers for these questions also. Okay. Actually, I am having some throat problem. Please bear with me. Okay. Sorry for this disturbance. Okay. Then, so these are the some of the frequently asked questions on writing the course outcomes. So you can see here what are the course outcomes. Quality of COs is decided by what parameter. Who will be writing the COs? Who will be mapping the COs COs with POs? Can COs be measurable? Will I able to assess the COs? And can the list of COs differ from instructor to instructor for a given course? What are the alternative nomenclatures used for the COs? How frequently we can change the COs? Should COs are written by module wise or against this skill or competency wise? And how COs are useful for instructor or faculty? How to decide on how many number of COs? What are the points needed to be considered for writing the COs? How COs helps the students? So these are the some questions arise when we are writing the COs. So I'll give these answers for these questions. Okay. Let us see. What are COs? So COs are describe the measurable skills, abilities, knowledge, values that students should be able to demonstrate as a result of completing a course. The COs describes measurable skills achieved by the students after completion of the entire contact hours or entire completion of the course, or the COs are student centered rather than the teacher centered, and they describe what the student will do, not instructor will teach. It is morely concentrate on student centered, and the COs are list of competencies student will gain after completing the overall contact hours. Hence, merely understanding of the content of the course is not a course outcome. So it is the experience or competencies gained by the student after completion of the course. So then let us see one by one these questionnaire frequently asked questions and writing course outcomes. So let us the quality of COs are decided by what parameters? So the quality of the COs are decided by the content of the course as well as delivery methods we are following. In addition to this, course assessments. What are the rubrics you are followed for your assessments? As you are following any methods or rubrics for assessing the your course, and then who will be writing the course outcomes or COPO mapping? So this may be done with the course instructor along with a group of course instructor led by a course coordinator, and this entire outcomes and mapping will be vetted by the an external expert which is having expert in this field. Can COs be measurable? Yes, the COs are measurable, but we need to ensure that we need to provide some evidence on demonstration of your COs, as well as what are the assessments, what are the delivery mechanisms you are using. For that, you need to provide the evidences. And then can CO, can the list of COs differ from instructor to instructor for a given course? Yes, COs can differ for instructor to instructor, but not advisable for all courses. And here the COs may be differ, but based on their delivery method, they're based on the assessment they are used. If they are using the same delivery method, same assessments, there is no change in the COs. But if the instructor is using different mechanisms, different delivery methods, in that case, there may be chance of difference in the course outcomes. And what are the alternative nomenclature we are used for COs? There are two nomenclatures are used. One is course learning outcomes or student learning outcomes. And how frequently COs can be revised? The COs may be revised based on the content or delivery or assessment. If there is a change, if there is a change in content, then you can go with change of your COs. Or if you are changing your delivery methods, or you are changing your assessment methods, in that case, you can change your COs. And should COs are written by the module wise or against skill or competency wise? Preferably based on ability, skill or competency, not on the module wise. So most of the facilitators or instructors write their course outcomes based on their module wise, unit wise. But preferably you need to go with based on the ability, skill or competency. Then, and how COs are useful for the instructor? There are several ways the COs are well-defined COs are useful for the instructor or a faculty. So a first and foremost thing is the faculty can decide emphasis on the course. Of all the things we have, what should we teach? So that means based on the course outcomes, the faculty or instructor may choose at what the depth, at what to teach, what are the topics we need to teach, and decide how best we can teach. The teaching student analyze requires different teaching approaches. There are different learners are there in our classrooms. So in order to deliver these content, we need to follow different approaches by analyzing these students and to perform well in their course and decide how to assess learning. Do I need course project or a final exam or any rubrics we need to follow, or you are mm, using any assessment tool, or you are following any learning management system for evaluating or assessing their performance. and communicate expectations to the students. So based on the course outcomes, the student may uh, take the decisions and to choose our course. Then how to decide on number of COs, and based on the number of contact hours or credits with an expectation of the project work, you can choose your course outcomes. Most commonly, you can go with 3 to 4 course outcomes. My suggestion is on 3 to 4 course outcomes for a course based on the contact hours. And what are the points need to be considered for writing the COs? While writing the COs, better to use the keywords or action words used in the program outcomes like apply, analyze, design, evaluate, create, or Bloom taxonomy words. Action words you need to use. These will help us in mapping these COs with POs. When you are using these action words or keywords, the mapping is easier task. How can help the students? COs can help the student. These COs can help to create a contact between instructor and students, since it is an indicator of a teaching learning practice. How many COs can be mapped with POs? Here, up to an extent of 2 to 3, and mapping more COs leads to difficulty in evidencing. So that means you need to map only 2 to 3 based on that CO strength. So, and how it is contributing that course. Based on that, you can choose 2 to 3 only. Don't map more than 3. So it may cause evidence producing for the each and every CO mapping is required. Are graduate attributes and program outcomes are one and same? No. The graduate attributes are keywords, whereas POs are statements which are derived from the graduate attributes. These graduate attributes are defined by ABET Accreditation Committee or National Board of Accreditation. From that, POs are defined as a statements, and they are derived from the graduate attributes. So here, based on this, I am considered my course, Smart System Design. This is my course, and these are the modules available within my course. Then, how to write the course outcome for this course? So let us start here. You can see here, at the end of the course, student will able to apply. Student will able to apply programming skills to program the Arduino and analyze interfacing of sensors, actuators, and wireless connectivity to the Arduino. And third one is select appropriate sensors, actuators, and connectivity based on the design requirement. And finally, they will develop a complete smart system using Arduino. So this is I followed only 4 course outcomes for my course based on whatever I discussed in previously, based on the frequent FAQs I discussed previously. So I followed not on the module wise, and I chosen only 4 outcomes, 4 course outcomes, and based on the strength of the content only, I chosen these 4 outcomes. Okay. Thank you, one and all. If you are having any queries, I'm happy to answer.
Thank you very much for valuable session, sir. So this is from our side that we can have a collaboration for outcome-based education, and so we shall take 1 or 2 minutes break. So the next speaker is ready within a minute. So the next speaker is getting into the connections, and he will be completing within 1 minute. So we shall start within a minute. So please bear this.
Hello. Am I audible? Hello.
Yes, sir, it is audible.
Yes,
Now
sir.
it is
Yeah,
audible.
great. Yeah, great. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank
Thank you.
That- I think I. So thank you for this permitting me to give a talk on design of question paper in engineering education, or basically on outcome-based education which we follow in our country. Slideshow. What's the slideshow? Before I come back to this design of the question paper, I would like to cover certain aspects, the attributes, and the process we follow in engineering education. So started here, let me bring what is the perspective of Indian education system. Basically, the requirements in a country, where the students get transformed from the students to the graduate, we are required to inculcate certain things, what is making his education, engineering education, proper, involved in research and innovation, develop his skills, develop entrepreneurship and startups, and teach them how to take forward the sustainable development and how getting collaborated globally. So to just go with, in India, we follow a system called outcomes-based education. The previous input-output is obsolete. And no, presently, we are following the outcomes-based education. And we at SR University, SR University, let me bring out my university at a glance. It's a private university situated in Warangal, Telangana, India. So we are focusing much on these aspects of engineering education. The first engineering education we follow is the outcome-based education. And the second parameter which we concentrate is research and innovation. Basically, universities are two types. One is the educational university, the other is the research university. We are in the category of research university. So our more of the concentration is towards research and innovation. We have a separate cell called CSP, which is motivated to develop the skills, student skills, to make them industry ready. We have a center called SRX Center, the first center in Telangana, which is motivating the students towards startups and entrepreneurship. We teach our students to solve societal problems and human-related problems, mean to say sustainable development. And we are going forward with global collaborations to see that our students become capable, competent to face the external world. Keeping this in mind, we are having a member of understanding at several universities. I hope all these parameters we're moving towards to make our university a center of excellence. So before I come to the model preparation of question paper in engineering education, I would like to highlight certain things on OBE model and what it aims at, what are the requirements. I will spend some 15 to 20 minutes on this before I come back to the question paper. Basically, the output-based education model implementation starts with the aim and objectives of having the university, which is in short called as defining the mission and vision of the university. Based on the requirements, we define at the university or school level the program educational objectives And to reach these program educational objectives, we define the program outcomes, and these outcomes are well defined by the National Board of Accreditation to us. Earlier it was called attributes required for the student community before they become the graduates. Now all these attributes are transformed into program outcomes, and to satisfy this program outcome, the complete curriculum is defined, the syllabus is defined with certain objectives to objectives and outcomes. And later, having defined this, we go in for the assessment process, whether we are perfectly following, we are reachable to these POs and COs. That you call it measurement methods and assessment criteria. And we have two methods of results and analysis, the internal evaluation and the external evaluation. Based on the results obtained from this evaluation, we find out the ways and means for identify. We after implementation, we look into whether we have reached our goals. Else, we have not reached the target. Then we look into the mechanism how to reach the target so that our mission and vision of the institution is achieved. I have just put a glance on this. Outcome-based education basically is meant to get the students, graduates, to become graduates. Okay, before they become graduates, what are the attributes? What are the POs? Now it is called as program outcomes. To obtain the program outcomes, we define the OBE, the system complete, that is called the curriculum in our Indian scenario. Okay, the curriculum is set so that we receive the goals what we have mentioned. Okay, you have a right. The next, having set the curriculum, then we look into the reaching learning process. The process we call it as OBLT, outcome based teaching and learning. Right. Sorry for the interruption. Then, having taught the course during the semester or the year, what we call as summer school or winter school, evaluation will take place, and we assess whether our students have reached the required attributes called program outcomes. If the target is reached, we continue the same procedure. Else, we adopt a mechanism for what are the lacunas in it, how to improve the system of education. The main framework is to receive the received outcomes. We have an assessment process. Ultimately, we have to see the outcomes are being improved gradually. It is being progressive. If there is a fall, we have to find a mechanism of why there is a fall and how to improve it. What are the things, modifications have to be brought into the system to see that the outcomes are achieved. Way of defining the vision and mission of the department. I don't want to waste my time because I'll come back to it. So to read the mission and vision of the department or the school we call, the department defines the program educational objectives. But this program educational objectives is defined by the National Board of Accreditation, and the mechanism is shown here. Now, once the school or the department define the PEOs, okay, department, now we are in the process of defining the program outcomes. However, these were called as attributes earlier in the previous accreditation process. Now we are calling as program, NBA program outcomes. There are about 12 things defined by the National Board of Accreditation, which called as NBA program outcomes, and the student having obtained the graduation, when he completes the course, he is required to have inculcate these qualities in him. Number one, how he has improved his engineering education, has reached the goal the knowledge required to like mathematics, science, engineering fundamentals, and make complex, how he can solve complex problems. This is given by the NBA itself. Then the next is problem solving skills or problem analysis. Next is design and development. Next is conduct investigation of complex problems. Then use of modern tools. Then the engineering to the society, how he can involve or help the society's growth. Then environment and sustainability. Then ethics in him. Then individually dealing in him as a individual and as in the team. How he can exhibit his leadership individually as well as the teamwork. Then we look into the communication skills of. Then how he can manage the things as a leader. Then we also look into the lifelong learning process, whether the student can make up his lifelong living from the learning. So these are the 12 attributes which the National Board of Accreditation states the student has to possess before he becomes a graduate. Right. In addition to this, the National Board of Accreditation also says that the department has to specify certain specific things in addition to these 12. They are called as program specific outcomes. For example, I have taken here the Department of Electronics. We have three we define it. The NBA says at least 2. So in our department, we are looking at the specific outcomes of, we have the modeling and design of electronic based systems. That means having the knowledge of mathematics learned through his career, his electronics subject learned through his career, and the computing facilities he has learned in this career, how he applies and he can develop things, electronic based products. So that is one we have kept as a specific outcome in the department. At the same time, we're going for the product designs, where we have an SRX center, which is called as Innovation Center or Entrepreneurship Development Center, where we give, the product development companies, the student becomes enterprise by themselves to develop new products. You're making use of the state-of-the-art current technologies, and the main aim is to look into the project developed is basically used for the society, is used for humanitarian basis, ultimately making a good entrepreneur. This is one I have just before I come to the question paper. Among these 12 outcomes, I have tried to concentrate one to make an understanding before the question paper. The first one is engineering knowledge. So what do you mean by engineering knowledge? What is being defined under this? Program outcome 1 says engineering knowledge, which defined as apply the knowledge of mathematics, science, engineering fundamentals, and an engineering specialization for the solution of complex engineering problems. Look at this statement. There are certain highlights which are called as, so you can see the Otherwise, you can take this level. Yeah, sorry for the interruption. I think there was some technical problem. Yeah, to come back with, at the department level, we define the program educational outcome, program educational objectives, and the POs, 12 POs are defined by the National Board of Accreditation. And I told what is PO1. Under PO1, we have certain competency factors. So this is one. The next level competencies we have put as any, we can have n number of competency factors. So the competency factor under one, this is one, this is two, this is three. So this become 1.1, 1.2, 1.3. Later on, under each competency, if you are looking like a modeling, we have seen that, like in mathematics, in one, we have two competency factors. We can define principal indicators, performance indicators or principal indicators. So this is how we have to look while defining that question paper. Well, I will skip certain things. How program outcomes are defined, then what are the learning outcomes required for the students to become before they become the graduates. Then when we set the question paper, here comes our main cost. When we start setting the question paper, we look into what is called as, okay, Bloom's taxonomy. Okay, this is the cognitive domain which defines what is the level of learning of the student. Okay, there are 6 levels of evaluation. Students level, when you are setting the question paper, the first one is remember, understand. The top level is apply, analyze, evaluate, and create. The bottom two, which is in a broad sense, these two are called low order thinking skills, lots we call it. And from this blue color, we see apply to create are called as high level, high order thinking skills. Well, this our accreditation process starts from this level, presuming that when the student is able to apply his knowledge, he has already understood and remembered the requirements. So that we will be defining as the prerequisites when we face in the curriculum. So these are the nouns we used it while defining the question paper. So these are the nouns we use under remember, and these are the things we use words under understand, and these are the things we use under apply. So these are the words we will be using while setting the question paper. So to go back deeper into my domain, now I will come back to one of the course which I am teaching from past 15 years in our institution, and that is called engineering ethics. And I have framed this syllabus curriculum into 5 units. 5 units are this. The first one is, you can call it as scope of engineering ethics. The second I have called as engineers response for safety. The third one is responsibility to engineers and rights of engineers, and global issues and responsibility as engineers, and the sample code of ethics. From this, what is the outcomes? What did the student learn out of this? So in these 5 units, I have defined that at the end of this course, the student will get a knowledge. That means he'll develop the ability to instill moral values that ought to guide in the profession. Okay, in his profession of engineering, he will learn the moral values, ethics that are required to his profession. The second I defined as identify moral issues and resolve these issues in the profession. So the student has to be able, after becoming a graduate, you should be able to use these techniques, these ethics what you have learned to resolve the societal problems, to resolve humanitarian problems in an ethical way. That's very important. And lastly, I defined justice, the moral judgment and concerning to the profession. The student, after graduate, when he gets employable, he should be able to make moral judgment in his job. He should understand his constraints. He should know laws and ethics, what you call it as sample code of ethics, when he has taken up the profession. So having done this syllabus, syllabus is not of so importance. We are looking now at present in this talk whether the student is able to achieve these outcomes what have been defined for. Now, in our curriculum at our university, we have divided the complete evaluation process into two parts. One is called internal evaluation. The other is called external evaluation. The internal evaluation is called CIE in our university. That is cumulative internal evaluation. And for the 100 marks, 30 marks is dedicated to the students with the internal evaluation purpose, and the student is made to is given an examination, and we try to understand whether the students have reached the required levels in the as defined in the Bloom's taxonomy. So this is one paper which I have mentioned here. In our system, the 30 marks of question paper which we give it, which is CIE, is divided into two parts, part A and part B. And here in part A, usually we give the questions of low order thinking skills. Okay, we call it as lots. Usually we fix this one. And in the part B, we fix up higher order thinking skills. So you can see the verbs which are being used. This is one question paper which I have used in our curriculum. I have used it. So we can see here, what are the words? Just it's a 2 marks, say a 1 mark or 2 marks questions. It will come distinguish between expert witness and eyewitness. The student has to know this, whether he has understood what he means by expert witness, whether they understood what he means by eyewitness. So this comes under unit 1. This comes under unit 1, and we judge whether the student has understood this or not. So this comes under course outcome 1. So we will be framing this in the question paper, which outcome is being achieved and what is the Bloom's level. This is at the remember level itself, right? And which course outcome is it is reflecting to? It is related to ethics. So if we go back at this course outcomes, you can see 8, it is related to ethics. So PO8 is the one which the question paper lies. Okay. Similarly, why globalization is required for any nation? The student has to be able to understand whether he has understood this. It is the understanding level. Having remembered the whole thing, whether he has understood what it meant by globalization. So this comes under Bloom's level 2, right? And all these portions are under program outcome 8 itself. So now the student is gauged that here I have as a teacher in course outcome 1, he has raised, if you have answered, he has leveled the Bloom's level of L1 and L2, and he is burst with understanding the program outcome. Now he, as a graduate, his performance, now the student is ready to understand the ethical ways of leading his job when he becomes a graduate. Similarly, this is a part A, and part B, we have similar questions, okay? And these are high order questions, which contains explain, okay, write, describe, how can you infer, illustrate, all these sort of things. We try to experiment the student, we try to test them and find out whether they have understood the high order thinking skills. So these things might be coming under course, the defined course outcome 2, maybe 1, 2, 3, but the question paper set here is under CO2 and CO3, and the Bloom's level is L2, okay, and the other testings we give some examination that to understand the students whether he has reached to the apply level, analyze level, create level, and evaluation level. So the question paper which is set, we look into that whether the students, what is psychometry, the study of psychometry, whether the student have reached the defined levels from remember to the create level. This is what the question papers which we define for the internal evaluation and the one which we call as external evaluation, what we call a SEA, semester end examination. Our system have 2 semesters in a year, 8 semesters for completing its course. So every semester, this subject falls in the 3rd year, and we evaluate the students 30 marks with internal and 60 marks with external examination. And overall 100 marks of evaluation, we do it, and we study whether the students, what is the Bloom's level, what are the outcomes he has actually attained. This is the second part, which is the evaluation part. Perhaps I think in a due course, if I possible, I'll discuss how we evaluate the student performance. So this sample, this question paper, the sample of this is what I want to bring out to you. But all these things, our National Board of Accreditation, which is under All India Council of Technical Education, it has given all this. It has provided the platform. Now it is our duty to gauge our students for each program outcome. Say one of the course, mechanical, they are given it. Of course, the similar things we have to frame it for the other departments too. So for program output 1, they are given the indicator performance indicators. For 2, what is the competency factor? What is the principal indicator? For program output 3. So similarly for the completely 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, all the program outcomes, they have defined the competency factors and also given the principal performance indicators. It is the duty of the faculty to gauge out the student using this such sort of question paper, which makes a student to excel in his career to become a strong graduate. So I hope my talk, my prof, perhaps help you to how to set the question paper in a university. Of course, the system here, I can talk in 2 ways. We under university, or we as university. So earlier we were under university, which we called as JNTU, Jawaharlal Technology University, and we are part of this college, engineering college. Under such system, the curriculum was defined by the university, and we used to define the course outcomes, and we were doing the analysis of evaluation assessment process. Now we are becoming a private university in this area, the first university content in Warangal region, where we are getting graduates with attributes. The syllabus is governed by us, the rules are governed by us, okay, the regulations are governed by us, and we are having different system of evaluation. And as you told, to make the graduates, we are looking forward to have these qualities embedded in the student. The mentioned is having a proper good engineering education so that the student becomes industry ready. We are trying to have research. The students are from the 3rd year are writing papers, they are review papers, and the final year they are developing projects, and ultimately I want to bring out that our students are taught with paper writing skills, they are taught with presentation skills, or we call it communication skills, and they are taught with enterprise qualities to become separate. With the incubation center, we are making them all rounders so that they are fit to face the outside world. Thank you very much, and if you have any questions, you can pose to me.
Thank you very much, sir, for valuable session. The speaker is Dr. Syed Mustaq, Vice Chair of IEEE Hyderabad chapter, and he is the chairman for students activities since 2018. 2008, and he has been awarded for best award in community services for his contribution in community service, and he is an NBA evaluator during the year 2012. He is a chair for educational activities, mentor young professionals, and active member in IEEE Hyderabad section.
Chair IEEE.
So here we had speech from various experts. I thank the experts for sharing their valuable experience and to initiate the collaborative work between SRU, Warangal and UTk-ISIC, Bangkok, Thailand. Some of the valid points shared by the experts are the conceptualization in teaching and learning process by Dr. UTk-ISIC and various methods of experimental learning and educational implication by Dr. Clinton from the institution of UTk-ISIC, Bangkok, Thailand. So from the SR University side, the Associate Dean Dr. Rajendra Prasad explained about outcome-based education focused on COPO mapping and awareness to the students about COPO and outcome of the course. Dr. Syed Mustafa has explained about the enhancement of product development and outcome of the departmental vision, and followed by the question paper settings and to improve the question paper setting. So with this, the experts might have idea that the collaborative work can be initiated. I hope this knowledge sharing could make the experts comfortable to collaborate and to undergo further process in experimental learning, in education, and also collaboration in research work. So this is not limited to only with the experimental learning, and also we can extend it to research work. So now the MoU process can be initiated, and we can get into that MoU process. So could I request Dr. Adamari to initiate the MoU process from UTk-ISIC side? She's in the
Excellent.
Is E0, C0. First is 2 times. Top 0. Next, second is 0, 0, 1.
Hello.
2 times.
Hello. Can you hear me, Adamari?
Okay, please wait for a moment. Dr. Peter still try to contact to Miss Ada for a moment. Please wait for 1 minute, please. Okay, wait for a moment. She is back now. Miss Ada, Dr. Ada is going to be back soon. Please kindly wait for a moment. Miss Ada is going.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. No problem. No problem, sir.
So thank you so much for this nice opportunity. We can share our idea and we can initiate for collaboration, right?
Yes, sir. Yes. Thank you for your presence, sir. And
Yeah,
you
I
spent
also
your
thank
valuable time.
Yeah, hope next time we can do joint research together, right?
Yes, 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 yes. You please come in our country, India.
Not
And,
yet. I still never visited India so far. Maybe one
okay.
day.
Okay,
When you
okay.
invite, we can go there sometime.
It is very near to Hyderabad. Hyderabad is a big city
Okay, here is
in
Miss
India.
Ida is going. Okay, please now.
Yeah. Ah.
I'm so sorry.
No, no problem, madam.
I was in another meeting.
Okay, no problem.
Where are we now?
So now actually now we can start our MoU initiation process at the primary stage.
Okay,
And
because
series of
I will. You have given me already the draft of the MOU, right?
yeah, yeah.
Okay. Because the procedure here is we will put the MOU in our board meeting for approval, and then I will update you in the email.
Okay. Okay, no problem. And from our side, you already sent one draft of your in your template. So from our
Yes.
side, whether we will give any we will change anything in the template like logo, our university logo.
Okay. Okay. I will review
So,
again and move forward for the procedure.
okay, okay, sure, sure, madam. Thank you very much for your joint and support. And
Yes, thank you very much also for organizing the webinar today. And also, we will continue with the public lecture about research
yes, yes,
with two of your experts also joining us.
experts. Yes,
I will
yes,
finalize the
yes, yes.
media about it, and so you can also share to the others about the event. Okay.
Yes, and please kindly share the link, madam, and date also.
Yes.
As I already shared the Word file, in that Word file I mentioned our faculty members' name. So in that file you can update the link as well as date and time.
Okay. Sure. 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 Okay. That's
Thank
it
you.
for today.
That's
Thank you
okay.
very
Thank you.
much,
Thank you.
and we'll see
Yes, madam. Okay. Okay.
Thank you and goodbye.
Thank you and goodbye, madam.
Bye bye.